I, Dr. Bobby Basu, teacher in charge, Heritage Business School, take this privilege to welcome you all to this webinar. At Heritage Business School, apart from academics, we organize industry institute interface sessions on a regular basis, where we invite experts from corporate houses and academia to interact with our students so as to enhance their practical knowledge. Today, we are very happy to have amongst us Ms. Nishi Srivastav. Yeah, she's the business HR East for commercial functions that includes both sales and after sales. Now, a brief profile of Nishi Srivastav. She is having more than 15 years of experience in human resource management, corporate social responsibility, resettlement, and rehabilitation. Her core expertise includes manpower planning, recruitment, selection, talent acquisition, talent retention, training and development, performance appraisal, internal communication, coaching, employee relations, succession planning, and employee engagement. She is a certified sustainability assurance practitioner from Accountability International UK. She is a qualified and experienced external assessor for conducting various assessments like Tata Affirmative Action Program, Tata Education Excellence Program, etc. She possesses deep understanding of gender and diversity issues, and specifically issues related to prevention of sexual harassment at workforce. Presently, she's working as Deputy General Manager East for commercial functions at Tata Motors India. Prior to Tata Motors, she had worked with Vedanta Aluminium Limited, a London Stock Exchange listed company, in resettlement and rehabilitation and corporate social responsibility. As for her voluntary activity, she has developed the HR policy and processes for Kolkata-based NGO, ASED, as a part of the Pro-Engage Tata Group voluntary initiative. Now, as far as academic background is concerned, she is a postgraduate diploma holder in HRM from XLRI Jamshedpur, and let me mention that she is the third topper from her batch. She's also holding the post of postgraduate diploma in rural development from XISS, that is Xavier Institute of Social Service, and there she was the gold medalist. She's PG diploma in women's studies and development from Punjab University, Chandigarh. So she has a very robust and strong academic background, I must say. And with a vast knowledge in different fields of HR, I'm sure today's session is going to be a very, very important and fruitful session for all the students. She will be speaking on the topic Shaping Career in HR for Management Graduates. Now, without further delay, I would now request our speaker of the day, Ms. Nishi Srivastav, to start her deliberation.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful introduction. Let me first share my slides.
Yes.
Yeah, career. When we talk about career, if we take the dictionary meaning of career, it says that it's an occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunity to progress. So we all know the meaning of career, and I understand that all the students who are here, they have a specialization of HR. Am I correct, ma'am?
Yeah, the students who are attending this program, mostly they are from first year, so they will have specialization in the second year. Now they are in the first semester. Yeah, they will have specialization in the third semester. But many of them have already chosen their specialization. So around 10 to 15 people are there who have taken specialization in HR, just yet to start in the third semester.
So why HR is the best career option? So I have noted down 4 points. First point is variety. So in HR, you do not have a typical day that you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Each of these days are different. So when you go to the office in the morning, uh, you are not sure how many things are going to come, because suddenly you will get an email from an employee, then there will be some other issue. So it's not that it's unpredictable, but you will have so many different varieties of things that you get to know, and you are you get this opportunity to work. Second is flexibility. Flexibility is, this includes this flexible hours. You get an opportunity to interact with people of different functions. So like I am also in HR, I am into the sales and marketing functions, and since pandemic I have not gone to the office. And uh, we have decided that from now onwards, means 1st February onwards, it's not that just this is because of the pandemic, but beyond pandemic also, we will be working one day only, we will operate out of office, and this flexibility is there. And being a mother of 2 kids, I think this is one of the best opportunity that I have got. I can manage my work life balance very well. Third is growth potential. You can move between sectors. So like I am in automobile sector. Before that I was in this aluminum field, means you can, and I can choose to move to FMCG, IT. So you can move between different sectors. And then in HR also you have a generalist and specialist kind of role that we will talk about in subsequent slides. Fourth is the meaningful work. Since you are always interacting with the employees and you are working with people, so it gives you a satisfaction, because when you are helping them to solve their problems, and when you are also helping the organization to reach out to its maximum potential, reach out to people, develop the culture of the organization, you get a job satisfaction also. So because in a nutshell, when you are in HR, you can think that you are working in one of the best functions in an organization. You have the power to change the culture of the organization. You have the power to influence people's career in the organization. So HR is one of the best career options. Next question. When I was also in my during my college days, I was also very apprehensive. What will happen? Which organization should I choose? Which line I should I choose? So let me tell you, when I was in graduation, I am an economics graduate. When I wanted to do my MBA, I didn't have anybody to guide me. And I just went through the brochures, and whatever subjects they were teaching, I was influenced. And I chose rural development instead of uh, HR, because at that point of time I wanted to work for the community, I wanted to work for the society. That thing was going into my mind. And even though I had scored very high in my MBA entrance test, I didn't even apply for the HR course in XISS. And I studied there. I got a gold medal also. And after my campus I joined one international NGO. And when I joined and I entered into the office, on the very first day, whatever I had dreamt of about my career, it was not that. And in the next 1.5 months only, I decided that no, this is not what I wanted to do. And I enrolled myself into another course on women studies and development, because uh, women issues are very close to my heart. And simultaneously, I also started preparing for my UPSC exams. Uh, Things didn't work out the way I had thought of, but I got an opportunity in Vedanta Aluminium Limited, and they were starting their greenfield project in Lanjigarh. It's a place in Odisha, and I got an opportunity to work in the resettlement and rehabilitation. It was very challenging work, and then we had to start the CSR activities in that. It was really very challenging, very difficult area, but I worked there for 2 years. I liked the job. And then then I got married and I moved to Jamshedpur. I belong to Jamshedpur, and there are very few opportunities in Jamshedpur. So I got an offer from Tata Motors. I was lucky that I got an offer, and I joined Tata Motors and started working in corporate social responsibility. We call it corporate sustainability in Tata Motors. I worked there for about 8 years in corporate social responsibilities, there were different functions, and I was reporting to the IR head. So in HR, you have two functions, this IR and HR. Then I came to know exactly what happens when you enter into a corporate. The things are totally different what you visualize in a campus. So when I joined Tata Motors, I saw that IR and HR, these are two different fields. So IR people, they are working with the blue collar employees. So they have this union management relationship. All these these labor laws are very much applicable to them, and they used to be very good in those labor laws. This relationship with the blue collar workers. And then I had colleagues who were in HR, and they were working for the white collar employees. And in HR also, there are two different kinds of roles. One is generalist and specialist. IR also you can call them as specialist, but I have bifurcated it because in corporates we have this type of nomenclatures. So in HR white collar, we have generalist, we call it HRBP or BHR. So this BHR or HRBPs, they are responsible from hiring till retiring. So you get an exposure of all the HR functions like manpower planning, recruitment, selection, then engagement, learning and development, succession planning. So whatever you know, whatever you are going to study or you have studied in HR, the role of an HR. So these BHRs or the HRBP, they are doing this kind of role. And then we have a specialists. We call them COEs in our corporate, in our company, center of excellence. So like we have this different HR verticals. So these are specialists in one vertical. So like L&D, we call it training and development, we call it L&D, learning and development. So there are few employees, few HR people who are working in L&D. So their role is benchmarking and designing new programs, capability development initiatives for the different roles. So they work on L&D only. They are closely working with these HRBPs for implementation. So these HRBP or BHRs, they are responsible for implementation at the ground level. And this specialist role, they are basically creating and designing the processes, the initiatives for the organization. So we have different specialists like learning and development, talent management, compensation and benefit, then employee engagement. So there are different verticals, and they work very closely with the HRBP role. So once you are into any corporate, uh, generally from IR to HR movement is possible. HR to IR movement is possible in theory, but practically there are certain gaps. And generally people who are in IR, it takes them some extra effort to move to HR, and similarly for HR to IR, because the employees with whom they are working, the profile is different, the requirement of the job is also different. So the first job that you choose, it's very important, and it will shape the career of yours. But there are certain things also that I would explain in my further slides, how you can shape your career. So this is one thing that I wanted to share. Is there any question from anybody till this slide? Anything that you would like to know? How in a corporate these functions are working, or any kind of questions if you have?
Ma'am, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Ma'am, I have already written in the chat box. I am taking specialization as an for HR, and I am taking business analytics as my minor. So, what are the scopes for HR analysts for the freshers? What are the requirements for getting job as fresher for HR analysts?
No, this is a very good field, and it's an upcoming field. Generally, we do not have any specific role for HR analysts, so it cuts across. So like in L&D also, we need HR analysts. So you will be joining different functions or BHR, and there is not, in my organization, I have not seen a special role such as HR role for HR analysts. Maybe in future we will have, but currently most of the organizations, they do not have such kind of role. But in future, expect that such kind of roles will be there. But today, as I have already shared, that it cuts across all the different verticals of HR.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am,
Have I
other than
replied to your question?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have another question that what are the basic requirements for getting a job for HR for freshers? Like, do we have to write any exam or there is any other requirements as
Rumela, I will
such?
suggest, Rumela,
Is
I
there
will
any
suggest let ma'am
Yes, ma'am.
complete her deliberations, and then in the question answer
Okay,
session, you
ma'am.
ask these questions. Okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am. Okay.
Let her complete her deliberation. Right.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, you continue.
Yeah. So I have gone through few of the articles. Once you suggested this topic, this shaping career in HR, so I thought that let me go through some of the articles also. And when I went through few articles, the thoughts were exactly what I had to share. So there are a few tips for young professionals like you. this is uh, this is my personal advice to your young to you, basis my experience so far. First is that no two paths are ever the same. So when you start your career and your friends start the career, you are not going to have the same kind of career graph, because it will depend on the company that you join, the role you join. Just a second. Just a second.
I would advise all of you to listen to the speaker first and then put your questions. Okay?
I am extremely sorry.
It's okay. You please continue. Yeah.
Yeah. So first is no two paths are the same. I have already shared, because many of my friends who had started career with different organizations, we are into different kind of roles, different kind of exposure we have. So be ready for this. And when you are in HR, do not ever forget the human element. So when you join any organizations, you will be given this is the policy of the organization, this is the procedure, this is the initiative. Don't get bogged down with the policies. Try to understand why these policies are there. These policies are there to help the employees. So in case you find that these policies are not going to help employees and these are not relevant in today's time, ask your senior, question these things, so that you are the advocate of the employees in the organization. Try to understand this human element, because you are a human resource professional. And third point is why. Always ask whenever you are going to start any initiative in your organization, being in HR, try to ask why we are doing it. Try to understand the ultimate objective of this organization, ultimate objective of that particular initiative. Fourth is very much related to the second point, is help others to help yourself. When you are helping employees, when you are helping them to work better, help in the sense that the way you should help so that they are able to perform better, they are able to contribute towards the organization's objective. It is not a personal help. This help is uh, keeping in mind the organization's overall objective in your mind. So when you help them, you help yourself also, because at the end you get that trust. Employees trust you. Fifth is streamline through software. There are so many apps, so many softwares available. So whenever you are working with some organization, try to there are already people are organizations are working on different softwares, like we are on we are using SAP and other things. But in other organizations, you may be joining some of the small organizations, maybe bigger organizations have their own softwares and other things. But then also there are apps that can help you, like we are using Slido, we are using iDev. So these apps help you to streamline the processes, and you don't have to Then we have this Power BI also. So these apps help you to streamline the processes so that you don't waste your time in just organizing, collating data on Excel, PowerPoint. So these help apps are very useful. So you should know which are the apps that are relevant and which are the software. So keep yourself updated. Next is listen, ask questions, and keep learning. So if you are in HR, don't think that I have to learn about HR only. Since you will be working with different departments, try to understand how different departments are also working. So like I am the HR baby for sales and after sales function. So I talk to the different roles. I need to understand each of these different roles, what they are doing. So sometimes I go to the field also with them. Like they are visiting the different dealerships. So I visit along with them, try to understand how dealerships work, how these TSMs, this we call them territory sales manager, the frontline sales team, how they are interacting, what kind of challenges they are having. Once you know the pain areas, once you know the challenges, then only you will be able to tell the solutions. So it's very important. Next point is have the mentality of a startup owner. So whenever you are in HR, always think the cost benefit analysis also. The startup owner की तरह आपको सोचना है that, and then only you will be able to recommend to your seniors that see we are doing this initiatives. These are the pain areas because you are in the field, you know these are the pain areas. Even if you are in a specialist role, try to get the feedback through the focus group discussions, or you can just call them, people who are working at the front level. Try to understand the current realities, the ground realities, and then only recommend anything to the seniors. Next point is stay humble. I see that many of the campus recruits, they join us as MTs or PGTs. And since they are just freshers from the college, they know so many theories. They start giving suggestions. We can do this, we can do that. It's okay, but HR is not black and white. Each organization has a unique culture. So it's not that you give this input and you will get this output. HR is a totally different subject. So when you are joining any organization, first try to understand the organization, try to understand the culture, try to understand the people, and then start contributing. So you should not run. First, you should learn how to walk. Take your time, make mistakes, learn from them, but do not repeat them. Next point, make sure you are here for the right reasons. You should have, if you want to pursue a career in HR, you should always have this mind because that I am in HR because I love to be among people. I want to solve their problems. And if it is not in your mind, then it's better you choose another field where you are more suitable. But because if it is not in your heart, you will not be able to contribute. Next, in HR, trust and respect. This is the ultimate key. If you do not have a trust, and if the employees do not respect you, you are not able to get the things done by them. So it's very important that you develop the trust, if you develop that respect. Know that you will need to serve as an unbiased business partner. So when you are in HR, you need to be totally unbiased. People look up to you as a coach, as an advisor. So you will see that many senior guys also, they will come to you and they will seek your advice and coach. You will feel very uncomfortable that, see, he's such a senior and he's asking me advice, but people will look up to you for any capability initiative, for any kind of career related discussions. So you have to be very unbiased. And whenever you are discussing something, please keep this confidential because it's very important for developing a trust. And last point is take advantage of every opportunity you have to develop your career. You need to be very selfish when it comes to your career. So you need to find a mentor or a coach, especially who are in the field for a longer period of time. They will be able to guide you. Join some professional organizations, maybe SHRM, NHRD, or any of them. And this will help you to get yourself updated. You will be able to know what other industries are doing and what is happening latest in the HR. most important is that you need to have a very good relationship with the business with whom you are working, means the business function in the organization. You should always think at the back of your mind that I'm going to add value to the business. Since I am interacting with people, I know the pain areas, I know their challenges. I should suggest some solutions to their problems, in which organization also gets benefited and my employees are also uh, getting benefit. So this is my small suggestion for young professionals like you. Now I will share few slides on how you should own your career. Is it okay? The pace is okay?
Yeah, absolutely okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is very important slide. So this is all about HR in a corporate that we have discussed. Now I have already shared that you need to be very selfish when it comes to your own career. First is creating your own personal brand. So when these are the two questions. Whenever you when you are in doubt, what ask these two questions: what am I good at? And second most important thing is, what do people tell me I am good at? So you might be thinking that I am very good in communication, but people around, they do not think like you. So recently I had undergone one workshop in which we were being told that you have to ask this question to all your seniors or all your friends with whom you have interacted or spent quite a good amount of time, that what are the 4-5 words that comes in their mind when they think about me. So you can try out this. So responsible, uh, learner. So what kind of person you are? So when you get this kind of feedback from people, you should think that this is my personal brand, because people think about me. Whenever they think of me, they think that I am like this. So it's like any other brand also. So whenever you think of any product or any brand, there is some kind of message that is associated with that particular brand. So you have to create your own brand also. So Nishi. So when people say Nishi, so they should know that Nishi का मतलब है कि उसको कोई भी task दो, she will go in depth, she will try to find out the solution, she will not try to give excuses. So this kind of own branding you have to create, and you have to sell also. Next is when you are at the best, when your talent, your passion, and the organization where you are working is giving you the support. So this is the best. And it's not that we are always at this position, but we should try to understand our own talent and where my passion lies, and then try to find out which kind of organizations I should join where my talent and passion, both things are met. And then you can think that you are at the best of your career. Second is have a growth mindset. So there is one small video. I don't know. I am not sure whether it will be if I play this, you will be able to listen. Let me first explain what is this fixed and growth mindset. So people having fixed mindset, they try to avoid the challenges. They think that successful people are born and there is nothing that I can change. So if I do not have some traits, I'm not going to be successful. So they are fixed. So it's like they have put some kind of lock in their mind. But people having a growth mindset, for them, the problems are like challenges. And they also feel that new abilities can be developed to success. So if you have a growth mindset, you can always grow in whatever field you have. So let me show this video. Do let me know if you are able to see this. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Are you
Yes,
able
ma'am.
to, are you able to see this video? Audio है?
Audio is not there.
Yes, ma'am.
Audio is there?
Yeah, I think just one plate. Yeah.
It's there?
I think there is some problem with the audio. The audio is there, but difficult to understand.
But the audio is not clear.
Audio is not there?
I think it's not.
Ma'am, audio is there, but it's not clear.
Is it?
The challenge. It's exciting.
Is the audio working? I don't think so.
Ma'am, I'm unable to hear the audio.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Not there.
You should have told me earlier. I was thinking that it's playing.
Yeah, actually, the students were telling that the audio is there, so I was also confused.
Yeah, it was not clear, but now it is also not audible.
There.
Okay. So I just explained the concept of growth versus fixed versus growth mindset. You can Google it in YouTube. You can Google it, or you can see the videos on the YouTube also. I have shared the link here also. So this talks about the fixed versus growth mindset. So you should be open to the criticism. You should be open to feedback. It also happens that many of the employees and they are not open to feedback. So whenever they are being given that there is something wrong in the way they are working or the output, they do not try. They do not accept that, and they are very reluctant to get any kind of feedback, and it's very difficult to work with them. So whenever you are whenever you are thinking about a career in HR, or it's relevant for any field. Excuse me, just have some water. So this fixed and growth mindset, this topic is relevant for any field. And this is relevant even for the small kids also. So when when they are having this growth mindset, they will not try to do the shortcuts. They will be open to feedback. They are also open to uh, accept challenges and grow and move ahead in their life. Even in for employees also the same thing applies. Next, career transition. We also see that especially the youngsters, this is very strange, they do not want to move to different locations. So in last 2-3 batches, I have seen that they want to stay in in the same location, like where their parents are, or if they have any special preference for any location. So it's very important in your career that you get an exposure of different industries, different sectors, different functions, and different geographies. Then only you are when you grow in your career, your experience is what matters, and you gain experience when you work in different industries, you work in different geographies, and you work in different functions. So try to move to different functions, or at least geography, if not industry, in 3 to 4 years. So this is the new mantra. Earlier people used to join in one corporate, and they used to think that I will superannuate from that particular organization, but the current reality is different. Even in our organization, we have this 2 by 2 matrix. So whenever we are doing succession planning, succession planning is when you are looking for people who will move to the next level role whenever there is a vacancy. So we try to find out whether they have moved to different business units. In our parlance, we have this commercial vehicle and passenger vehicles, whether they have moved from different business functions, or if they have moved from different departments, or at least different geographies. So there is some score given to that. So it's very important that you move to different industries, geographies, or functions or departments. Next is an important concept that we also follow in our corporate. It's an individual development plan. We call it IDP, and we have this for all the employees in our company. So HR is also a part of this. So we follow the principle of 70-20-10. So 70% is the knowledge that you gain from job. So it will come from the career transition that I have already explained. When you move from different geographies, different functions, so it will come from there. And 20% is from interactions, the mentoring, coaching that you get from your seniors. And cross-functional exposure. For that, we have some kind of some initiatives. Like if I am in HR, and if I want to move to sales, so I can join some small projects in sales, and I can get some exposure. So this will come under 20% of exposure with other departments or other functions where I have not ever worked. And 10% is your formal education. So that like the campus education, the college education, or the training and development, or certifications, whatever we do. So generally people think that if I get a number of certifications, I will grow in my career. And I have seen in LinkedIn profiles and everywhere also, people try to just add on qualifications, certifications. So practically, this is a universal principle of 70-20-10, that actually what you do, that is contributing to the extent of 70% on for your career growth. It's not only certifications or the qualifications that you get, it's the actual work that you do that contributes. And 20% is the kind of exposure you get through mentoring, coaching, and other. So this is one sample kind of format that we follow. So what is your short-term and long-term career aspirations? What are your key strengths and key development needs? So these areas you discuss with your managers, and then basis this discussion, this experience, exposure, and education, these 3 things are decided for that particular employee. What kind of special assignments or job rotations are there, that will cover under experience, that I have already told 70% weightage is given. And second is exposure, like opportunity for mentoring, participation in seminars, etc., which can develop your skill level. And third is your education, like learning and development initiatives, certifications, etc. So I am telling you different concepts. Maybe you can search and try to learn more about these things. I'm just introducing these concepts. This is another concept. This is, we call it career trap. So let me explain this slide. So when you are just pass out from college and you join a corporate, so you are at the first A, the first quadrant, where you have high on passion but low in talent, because you have not gained any kind of experience, but you are very passionate, you want to do everything, you have got all kinds of theoretical inputs, and when you join the corporate, you have all the dreams, you all the passions to change the organization, change everything. And then so gradually, uh, by gaining experience and exposure, by working there, you move to point B. Here your talent is also high and your passion is also high. This is very important point. When you reach the point B, if you are not thinking about your career, and if you are not changing, if you are not accepting that career transition that I shared already, you will move to C, because you are not increasing your talent. And since you are doing the same thing, your passion will also decrease, and then you will move to C, where your talent is high but your passion has gone down. And if you are not able to do anything, then you will move to D, and it is a career prison, and you will be stuck. So we see people who are in the same organization, same role for the last 10-15 years, doing the same kind of role. So they are people who are in D. But when you are in point B, and you think that now this is need to now I need to move to different functions or different department or different geography at least, then you move to another A, where you are high on passion, and then you have to learn new things. So keep on learning and keep on growing. Always remember that if you do not change, or if you do not uh, transition from one role or one function or one geography, you will be in a career trap. So these are the quick tips. I have shared so many things. First is have a growth mindset. Think about career transitions. Do not fall into career trap. Develop a new passion. Make your own personal brand and stand out. Invest in your career to develop skill sets. Keep on acquiring skills. Keep on acquiring certifications that are relevant to your job. Keep yourself updated, because change is too fast in current situation. Work on your individual development plan. Try to prepare one for yourself and revisit it after maybe 2-3 years. And follow the 70-20-10 principle whenever you are developing your IDP, and try to get exposure and experience more than gaining qualifications or certifications. So this was all that I wanted to share with you. Now the floor is open for question and answers. You can ask any question. I'll try my level best to answer your queries. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nishi, for joining us and for such a wonderful thought, for sharing your thought with us. Now, as you pointed out, that one should be working with ground reality. That is very, very important for the students to understand, because if you come work with the reality, ground reality, then only you will come with the challenges, and then only the question of resolving those challenges or the overcoming the problems will come. That's very, very true. And I understand that irrespective of what field you are in, one should be very helpful in her attitude towards others, because by doing so, you can develop trust and faith in you. That is very, very important, irrespective of which field you are in. And I fully agree with your 70-20-10 principle, and really love the way and enjoyed the way you have you have explained the career trap. That is very, very interesting. That happens to many of the professionals who are working in the industry for many years. And
I lost you.
You please put in the question chat box. Is there any question in the chat box? Yeah, let me check out. What are the key skills? Yeah, there is a question from our second year student, Ananya Banerjee. Ananya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, can you read out your question, Ananya?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Sorry, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, what are the key skills you search when you recruit a fresher?
Okay, good question. So whenever we are going out for this campus placements, first thing is that you should be very genuine. Whatever you are, you should not fake. Many a times students try to fake that I have done this. I have. If you have not done anything, you should be true to yourself. This is first and foremost. Second is your communication skill, because in HR it's very important that your communication skills are very important. And what kind of basically summer internship, whatever you have done, that plays an important role during this final placements, because apart from that there is nothing where we can check uh, what you have done, because these are the academics, so only degrees are different things. But during your summer placements, what kind of projects you have taken and what is your learning. So these are the 2-3 things that we look out. And then your past records also, it's these are basically the uh, the background check, etc. These are the things that we check. Means uh, whatever you have done in your past, means in your academics and your summer placements. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, another question is there. What are the soft skills required to adapt and learn for a fresher?
I think in HR, I think it's communication basically. You need to be a very good communicator, both written and verbal communication. These are very important. And your presentation skills, your negotiation skills, because many a times you have to negotiate. There are some HR agendas, you have to push that, and business will not agree to it. How you negotiate well with them and get your agenda pushed in the organization, that is important.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Myself Subhadeep, ma'am, from first year. Ma'am, as we are doing dual specialization in MBA, so what if we take HR as our minor subjects and major as a marketing? What are the opportunities in the organizational field, ma'am?
Generally, it is the major that decides your career. So minor you have taken, but if you start your career in marketing, then in my organization it's possible, but in none in other organization I'm not very sure, because this kind of flexibility is there or not. Like I started my career in CSR, I moved to HR. I have seen people who were into marketing and they have moved to CSR or HR. So we have this flexibility, but mostly organizations, they do not have this kind of flexibility. So you have to decide during your second career only whether you want to move to HR or marketing.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, is there any other question from the student side?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
yeah, ma'am, you mentioned about presentation skills and other soft skills. So, ma'am, can you suggest us few online applications where you should practice and learn about those skills like presentation skills? Like you mentioned about Power BI. So, any other such skills, such applications?
Okay, okay. So these are like in our organization, we are using this Slido app for our mass communication sessions. Power BI, these are very expensive tools. You will not get an exposure maybe as a student. But what you can do that, because for your campus placements, you can form a group. Because when we were also in the college, we had a group of 6-7 students, and we used to prepare on one topics, because your theoretical skills are going to be asked. Means what are the theories that you have learned, these are the things that you are going to be asked, and then you can read out. Please try to read articles from Harvard Business Reviews, Bersin. Try to read out the articles, different, and go, if you must be having some library. So first you read out. At currently, this is the one thing that I would like to suggest, because they are post pandemic, there are so many changes that has happened in the HR field, many changes. You should go through those articles and try to discuss amongst yourself in a group, so that you have some strong points related to any topic that is related to future HR trends, or and related topics. Like this work from home, this was a complete no in our organization. People used to think कि work from home मतलब लोग काम नहीं करते हैं, but during this pandemic we all were forced to work from home, and now the organization has realized that it's really very cost effective, and this is employee friendly also. So it's not beyond, it's not during pandemic, but forever I will be working. If I am in this function, at this location, means corporate function, I will be working from home. So these kind of differences are there. Means this post pandemic, what are the challenges, and relevant topics related to HR. You Google these. It's important that you read the HBR articles. You can just sign up. It's free, I think.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, go through
They
the articles.
send newsletters and email newsletters, ma'am.
Yeah, very important that you read, because whenever you are in some group discussions, on when some interviews, if you share such kind of experiences, if such kind of learnings that you have gained through this, by going through these articles, it will create an impression among the interviewer that this person is reading beyond whatever is being taught in the college.
Exactly.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Do you have any more questions? Nishi, I've got a question just to say that it's not related to HR. I'm just asking that our students have to go for a 6 to 8 weeks summer internship, summer project, right? So that happens generally after the second semester. So if the students they are willing to join Tata Motors for this summer internship, so what will be the profile that will be offered to them?
Specialization. What kind of specialization means?
They have got various specialization like marketing, finance, HR, systems. These are the specializations which are offered in major.
Sales, marketing, because I'm related to sales and marketing, so I can help few of them.
Okay.
Who are having very good analytical skills, basically in sales and marketing, so that they will have to move to different field areas also. So I can check with my business counterpart whether they need some interns. Generally, they need interns because they have so many projects. Like they have to talk to different customers, prepare some documents, do some kind of research. So these kind of opportunities are there for sales and marketing. For HR, I can take 1 or 2, 1 maximum, because it's very important that if I take somebody, I have to guide also.
Definitely, yes.
So I do not have that much time or bandwidth. But we can definitely look out for this.
Yeah, in many companies, what happens is they take the students for this summer projects, and if they find that the students are worth enough and good enough, then finally they offer the placement to them also. So
yeah, it happens with us also, but our process is different. Just like final placements, we also go to tier 1 and tier 2 colleges for summer placements also. Like I had gone to IIM Shillong last year, and NIT Durgapur. So we go to these colleges and we select students for our summer placements also. And if they are very good for the summer placements, their performance is very good, we offer them.
Placements also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this is decided centrally, not at my level. So we have I
understand.
already shared the specialist. So we have campus team. So they decide which campuses we will be going. All these things they are deciding.
Okay.
At the local level, at my level, I can help few students to get summer placements. But final placements, only those colleges where we are going.
Decided centrally.
Yes.
I'm from those colleges. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you can give this opportunity to our students so that you can always test them.
Yeah, they can gain exposure. This is not a challenge. We also need good students for some kind of. There are so many projects going on, and we are busy with our day-to-day work. So we need also good students who can help us in those projects.
Yeah. So I think today's session was really fruitful in the sense that the students were given the choice to choose their specialization, and many of the students were in a dilemma which specialization to choose. So after this session, maybe the students who have taken HR as their major, they have some justifications for the right choice of taking HR as their major specialization. So
And
that's what I can say.
I must say that HR is a very good specialization because you are not bound to one industry. I see in sales marketing people who have specialized sales and marketing. They have a very good career path. They grow very fast.
Yeah.
Compared to HR, they have a very fast growth in career because they are at the front end. But one challenge is that they cannot change industry so fast. So if you are in automobile sales, so you will move to automobile related field only, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler. So very few industries are there where you can move. But in HR, I see people coming from IT to Tata Motors, from Tata Motors moving to FMCG. So you can get an exposure of different industries. So, and then like this automobile industry is very cyclic. So sometimes you have revenues, yeah, and then recession comes. But FMCG, like in FMCG, they are always
booming,
growing.
Always booming.
So you can change, but from automobile sales marketing, you cannot move to FMCG. People move, especially who are into two-wheeler or three-wheeler, but very few.
Exactly so. Exactly.
So it's basically their own interest areas, and they should think if I love to move to field, if I love to travel, because in sales and marketing, if you are not interested in traveling, you should not join that function because it's more related to traveling. So in my husband is into sales and marketing, so 20 days in a month he is traveling. So I see in my office also people who are traveling 20 days, but I cannot travel. It's my personal choice, but there are girls who love to travel, so they are there. So it's your personal choice.
Very true. One should take the specialization based on her interest, based on her skill, his or her skills. That is very, very important. Your knack, what you love, that's you should take as a specialization. That's very true.
Skill you can learn, but passion.
Yeah, then only you. Yeah, exactly so. You have to follow your passion. That is very important. So, if you don't have any questions, any more questions, in that case, we would request our.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I
You
want
have
to
a
ask
question
one question.
also? Oh, sure.
Yes, I want to ask.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am,
Proceed.
is there any opportunities for finance students for an internship in Tata Motors?
I'll check with my finance person. I have to check.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any more questions from the student side? Our faculty members are also there. Do you have any questions?
No. Yeah, it was lovely session. Nisi, thank you very much. I am Shoma.
Yeah. Hi. We have been in touch.
Yeah. I am actually, so it was really lovely session. I was actually going through it. I was listening. And I think my students have really, they have enjoyed and they have learned a lot from you.
I'm really grateful, and I would be really glad if students grab at least 1 or 2 points also from my whatever
Sure,
I
sure.
have done. So I
Sure.
have learned, I have made mistakes in my life. I have learned from those mistakes. I do not want you to repeat those mistakes. So that's why.
And I will keep in touch with you, surely.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. So should we call it a day?
Ma'am, I
Yes,
am having one
Chandranath
question.
has a question. Yeah, Chandranath,
Okay.
make it fast. Yeah.
Ma'am, during our final placements in HR, what kind of job profile like they give us? Like in HR, what kind of job profile we can expect from a company?
Okay. So whenever you get a placement, final placement, generally they do not give you one role immediately. In our organization, you are working on different projects for 1 year. So it's a 1 year project duration in which you are working on. We give them time to get acclimatized to our culture, understand different functions, and work on specific project in HR. So like you will be working with anybody who is there. Like any MT or PGT, they work under some BHR or some specialists for 1 year on some specific project, and after that they are being placed in HRPP role. Specialist role generally they don't get, because freshers for specialist role they need some kind of exposure, or maybe 2-3 years. So HRBP role only you get, maybe from for a smaller population initially, and then gradually to a bigger area.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So everything good thing has come to an end. So we are at the end of this session. I would request our student from the first year, Ms. Sweta Jha, to offer the vote of thanks. Yep. Sweta, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
A very good afternoon to respected faculty members, Honorable Speaker Ms. Nishi Srivastav, seniors and my fellow batchmates. As we come to the closure of today's webinar, I, Shweta Jha, a student of first year Heritage Business School, feel honored to propose the final vote of thanks. On behalf of Heritage Business School, I would like to thank Ms. Nishi Srivastav, Deputy General Manager Business HR East for Commercial Functions, Tata Motors Limited, for joining us despite of a busy schedule and speaking on such an important topic, shaping career in HR for management graduates. It's been a great learning session for all of us, and I'm sure many of my batchmates and seniors who are planning to pursue human resource now have better clarity and understanding about the domain and the role demands. Some of the important takeaways from the sessions are why one should go for human resource and key skill set required, role requirements and responsibilities of different HR functions, how an integrated approach of understanding different functions and new age applications can help understand the domain better. We are very thankful to you, ma'am, for such lucid and insightful presentation. The successful outcome of this webinar also owes much to the guidance and thought of Dr. Bobby Basu, our teacher in charge and convener of Industry Institute Interface Committee, and Professor Soma Bose Biswas, Faculty Coordinator of III Committee of Heritage Business School. My sincere thanks goes to all the faculty and staff members of Heritage Business School. Last but never the least, my acknowledgement goes to all the participants for putting the valuable and pertinent questions, for making the session such an interactive one. Thank you once again for joining us and sharing our thought and experiences with us, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.